Thank you for staying with us. We're talking about the Dolor Factor team in Dominica, where we experienced Tropical Storm Erica. As I was getting out of the cottage, it started to, I wouldn't say slide yet, but kind of swing. And I saw elements of the room going out. And so I came out, and there were some steps. And as I was going down the steps, it was really slippery. And I didn't say this to Bernice because we had worried the day before because we had been evacuated the day before.
Yeah.
There was a lot of rain. And we were all worried the day before. And when I came out, the steps was like step and concrete and mud and everything. And I put my foot down. And when I put my foot down, it gave way. And as it gave way, I fell and I grabbed onto a railing or something that was there. But of course, there was so much water. So that went and I fell. I literally fell and I was on the ground grabbing whilst my body is like sliding because it was still raining, remember? It was still raining and thunder and lightning and I'm out there. And in that moment in time, I'm seeing, I'd recently got married and I was thinking, I can't believe you. And I'm thinking of, my children. Everything comes to you. And I'm hearing things falling into the sea because the sea is on the other side. Yeah. And I'm hearing, and I'm screaming for you because you're next door. And I'm going, Bernice, and I'm not hearing it. Everything is happening all at the same time. And then I eventually scrambled. All this happened maybe about 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Not a lot of time, but a lot went through my head. And I got up, and then the rain, because the rain was like buckets. It wasn't like, it was like buckets. Everything. And all the rain was like all washing me off and and I didn't see you and I couldn't see the guy. I could hear him shouting to everybody to go. And I could see little lights because I think there were
a little touch light.
There were people with a touch light, but it was late. It was like 3 and 4 in the morning. It was dark. You couldn't really see what's happening. And then I went into the bus, and when I saw the bus, there were 4 people in there, and everyone was like this.
Yeah, shock.
Yeah, they were just sitting like this, and their eyes were like wide open. And I was looking for you and Michael, and then I saw you and Michael come. And we didn't say anything to each other. No. We all sat down, and we all sat down like that. And then, can you remember the guy was turning the bus round?
Yeah.
He was turning the bus round, and when he was turning the bus round, the length of the bus seemed, it was wider than the road that he had to turn it round in. And the end of the bus was just looking at the sea in the dark, and we could hear the noise and the lightning and the thunder. And he turned it round, and when he turned it round, I remember him speeding up the hill, and I'm thinking, why is he speeding up the hill? Slow down, because I couldn't see where he was going. All I could see was thunder and lightning. And then, to cut a very long story short, when we look back, remember we went back for the walk because it rained for hours and hours. Where he sped up, the road just went.
The hill went down.
The hill went down. And we realized the hill went down on this side, the hill went down on that side, and we were stuck in the middle.
Yes. We were in the middle. And what that really scared me, when this big stone, the rock fell on the back of the house where we were.
That's another day. That's another day. We went through a lot. In terms of what happened, but the things that happen when you're stuck in a room with 40 people that you don't know from different nationalities, different cultures, different languages, people are afraid. We went through not having enough food to eat, not having enough water, doubting where the water was coming from. Should we drink the water? And at some point, people even started stealing food.
Yes.
And they're stealing food and not sharing it, putting it in their bags because they didn't want to starve.
But they were there with some kids. They had kids, so they would try and save the food for the kids, the parents that had the kids. So that's what they were doing.
And all the time, we were thinking, does anyone know that we're here? And how do we get a signal? Because there was no electricity, so obviously with no electricity there'll be no internet. The generator at the hotel was down, but I think they got it working after a while, but initially there was
during
nothing.
the day they would cut it off, or just to save the gas.
Yeah. So All we were concerned about. Another time, we weren't thinking that everybody knew what was happening. We were just thinking, we wanted, obviously, everyone wants to get home. How do we get the message to get home?
Yeah.
And that's where Michael came in. And you will hear Michael's account. But I say this wholeheartedly, it's only when we got home that I really realized just how much Michael did.
Yes.
What it
true.
meant, what he did.
He saved us.
He did. He saved us. So when we go online and we see people say, Dolor Factor want publicity, I want it to be publicly known that Michael Joseph, through his actions with a few others, who we will name, braved their lives to go across the path that no one else could go across, walk down a cliff,
They made their own way.
walk down a cliff, walk through rivers with the rain falling on them, with landslides and rocks falling on them, walking up a mountain because someone said there was a signal up the
Up there.
mountain.
They
And he
for
walked
hours.
for hours to get a signal to say where we were. And whilst he was away, what we did, everyone, we got a bed sheet.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
and
go
we
ahead.
sprayed the SOS on it, tie it. Trying every like helicopter plane that we see passing, like everybody like running out and waving at it.
And we saw at least six,
Yes.
at least six
6
helicopters or small aircraft. And everyone's running and
waving
waving
and
shouting, and not one of them let us know that they saw us.
Yes.
People were saying, yeah, they saw us. And maybe they couldn't
They will
because they
come
can't put
back.
their hand out or whatever,
Yeah.
and I accept that. But we didn't even see one of them at least circle. So that would have indicated to us that, yes, you've seen us. And when we saw days went by and we didn't know if anyone was trying to get to us or what happened to us, that's when Michael decided he's had enough. He's not going to stay here and wait because
Yes.
it didn't seem as if nothing was happening. So we had to think about who can we call, who will act. And it was a situation of life and death. Because in that time, I had seen my life flash
Me
twice
too.
in 20 minutes. I thought God just didn't want to take me then.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've had your...
Yes, that's how I felt, yeah.
Now, you see, if anyone who knows Bernice knows, Bernice is not like this. She's a very happy-go-lucky, jovial, not that she isn't right now, but anyone knowing her would know that the Bernice you see sitting there is not the Bernice that you would have known before we went to Dominica. That is how much this has affected her. And this is
Yeah.
not about Dominica per se. It's not about St. Lucia. It's about what we went through and what we saw the people in Dominica did to help us.
Yes.
Because a lot of the people in Dominica who helped us lost everything.
Yeah, they
Because we were
lost
in the
everything.
heart of what happened where the people died. They had lost everything. They even lost their parents, some of them lost their parents, and they were still there looking after us because there was nowhere out for them.
At the time we were on our own because the managers, the staff here, and their parents died, their family died, and they were like all crying, and we just on our own and try and help them because it was really sad, you know. And this staff stayed there to make sure that we were okay. Yeah. So sad.
So, when you think about what we went through, it's just one of the stories. You see that when you turn on your cable. You see in America, they have all these true life stories and so on and so forth. And that's what it is. They tell you what happened. They're not blaming anybody. They're just telling you the facts of the matter. And this is what we are doing now. One of the big concerns is, who did we ring for help, or why didn't we call certain people for help? We called the people who we knew would act immediately, who would not have to think about protocol, who would act immediately, and who knew that if protocol existed, because this was life and death, not only of just 3 St. Lucians, but 40 other people, that they would know how to act. And that is why the decision was made by all 3 of us that the first person to call was my husband. When we come back from the break, he will be here to give his account.